We know that a lot of the big broadcasting rights tied to professional sports are locked up for a long time. In the case of March Madness, no exception. What was just announced was the ACC Conference, one of the big ones, has its own digital network, and they are making that available as an app on Apple Television. You know, if Steve Jobs was passionate about music, you've got people like Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, and Eddie Q, who's the point person on a lot of the Apple TV activity, who are passionate about Duke basketball. Duke is part of the ACC, and since a lot of those broadcasting rights are not going to be available in sports for a long time, the alternative is to do something like this, where you can have access to content while people are enjoying March Madness. It's news and highlights and that kind of stuff, which they can very easily get because the conferences themselves are really pushing their own content too.
What are broadcasters going to think about this? Because even if it's not a blockbuster deal, it's still a move into their territory, right?
Yeah, I think that on the one hand, the broadcasters are paying huge money for live games, and that story is not going to change. And if you see, extra news and analysis and commentary packaged in different ways, they're not going to worry too much about it. But it still does raise that question as Apple takes, dips a toe in the water. The same conversation we were having when there were reports that Google was interested in acquiring the rights to Sunday NFL Ticket, which is that if players like Apple and Google, which have these devices that allow you to go direct to consumer and really bypass traditional television, if they can start to get access to more sports, then really they start to rattle the cable cage. Right now, as we know, so many of these live sports that are keeping people tied up in the world of cable are locked up for a long time. So it's almost like Apple nibbling around the edges here with some March Madness related material.